we've got a quorum, so we can start.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Okay, well, I'll call us to order. I appreciate the three of us for making it, as well as the others who are attending. We'll follow our agenda of the special meeting being called, and I guess I'll entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as presented in the notice.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. I don't know if Denise is listening, but
Second.
thank you, you are. Okay, so we will, thank you, Denise. We'll move on then. All right, so we'll, most of this agenda I'm going to yield except for item number 4 to Heather and to our water sewer gentleman down at the corner. So I will move up forward for us.
Okay, in you're handed out, pictures of what.
Yeah.
I've been corrected on the amended project ordinance. It says contact chamber, and it should say chlorine chamber. We will change that. But the walkway, if you look at the last picture that kind of panned out a little bit, there was a walkway that completely covered that, a steel walkway. So
really,
there was no way to really see what was underneath it until they took it off. And when they did, you can see what they found. And obviously the pieces that the walkway was fastened to aren't in good shape. So we're very lucky we didn't have some kind of, mishap with the walkway. We really are. But that needs to be repaired and fixed. Obviously, I think Dylan can tell you a little bit more about the process, but we have come to you today with an amendment to this project ordinance to add $31,574 into the budget for this project to have that chlorine chamber, not contact chamber, replaced.
okay. And refresh my memory, I know this did go out to bid.
No, this did not go out to bid because it was the construction part of it was under $500,000.
Gotcha, okay. Well, Dylan, anything you want to point out to us, other than the obvious?
Covered it very well.
Yeah.
But
Question regarding it, I can answer, but basically it's just falling apart and everything. The reason the cost is so high is because they have to remove everything. It's not like they can patch in place or anything like that. Everything that you see in the picture is coming out.
be replaced with new steel. And just kind of, I'll let Dylan update you on where they are in the process of the project.
Okay.
So they are the EnviroGlass guys. They're working 24 hours now, and they're hoping to have 24 hours, 7 days a week. And they're hoping to be done blasting this weekend, which means that we can start coating next week and doing the chlorine contact chamber hopefully the middle of next week. So then when that the chamber's done and the coating's done, everything can go back into the plant, and we're about July 31st.
July 31st.
Wow.
We're getting everything shipped to us from Illinois, from Walker Process. Once that comes in, they'll be ready to put all that in, walkway put on, and a few extra things need to be done with the walkway. So we're looking pretty good, just depending on when the blasting gets done and this chlorine contact chamber gets finished up. Once that's finished up, then we move on and hopefully be done by the end of August.
End of August.
Yeah, we're shooting for the middle, but unforeseen things.
Right.
Shoot for the end of August.
So we hope, once it's done, then we'll be talking again with the folks from the state about lifting our moratorium. That's our plan.
Looking at these pictures, they ought to give us their sincere sympathy. Can't talk, sympathy. But
Yeah.
I know that you and Dylan have spent a lot of time on this.
Dylan has spent a ton of time on it. so-
Well, I'm sure, and you've been involved, but Dylan, thank you very much. It looks awful, to put it mildly.
Heather, do you have these, you could email me these, or Dylan?
I'll try. I think I can. I emailed them to you all, didn't I? So,
Yeah.
yes, I think I can.
Okay.
Chad showed me how on my phone. I took them with my phone. So I emailed them to you, so.
Yeah, you can just email them.
Okay.
It's a JPEG usually.
What, give me your email address, cause I sent you a reply on something you sent me and it kicked back.
Oh.
It says invalid email.
It's editor@Yancey Paper.
Yeah.
It may have been my old one, Jody. Or,
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and we've been trying to phase that out, but it still keeps popping up, and I'll send stuff out, and it'll have that on it.
Is it .com?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll send those to
Well,
you.
these pictures, if anybody has any doubts about where the money is needed and why, these pictures are god awful.
Yeah.
Surprised we're still here.
So we just need a motion to amend the project ordinance, with the change that it's not the contact chamber, it's the chlorine chamber,
Okay.
to add the additional funding.
Well, I'll make that motion if someone would like to.
I'll second.
Are we all in agreement, Denise? Yeah, I think I saw.
Yeah, she said yes.
She said yes.
Okay, so the motion here. Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Okay.
The next thing I have is just an update on our fire department building project. If you've noticed, they were mobilizing this week, and I believe they have started with the cement stabilization process of the soil. Last Friday, we got a proposal, and it was above the amount that we had agreed upon, and so we went back, and now we're back within the amount of money that you all had approved on the 25th of June.
Okay.
If you'll look on the back of that letter, this latest proposal, you'll see the areas that will be treated. What's in red will be treated 2 feet, 24 inches. What's in blue
Yeah.
will be 1 foot, 12 inches of treatment, and that's per BLE's requirement. They're the soil engineers. The area that will not be treated to come within this budget of $175,000 is that front parking lot
Great.
in gray. But we had proposed keeping that gravel for a while anyway. And in talking with Jay with McGill, you know, there's nothing that's going to be catastrophic that happens there if there is some settling. But this takes care of the bay and the building itself and the main roadway that the trucks will be traveling on.
Judy, you might try to help me remember that meeting that we had where many different agencies came together. I was talking about the fire department and needed help and advice. Some gentleman with the fire department, I know, said that they could help maybe do a little bit of paving for us, or did I just dream that?
I don't remember
I
that.
sort of remember that.
I-
That was when we had all the
Yes,
the smart,
It was
strong.
a strong town or small,
Yeah.
small town strong or something.
Yeah, he did say so.
Wasn't it the DOT?
No, it was.
I think,
Was I there?
yes, you sat right almost in the middle.
Okay.
But
I don't remember that.
I mean, I'm thinking if we needed some paving done, I mean, this might be how we
He did say that.
But you don't remember who he was?
No.
He was either with DOT or Jamie might remember.
Yeah.
If anybody
We-
remembers, it'd be Jamie.
We
but I don't
will
remember that.
definitely look into that. I think at this
Okay.
point, the idea would be to leave it gravel just to see for a while, to see if it settles, if there are any problems before we put pavement on it, because we don't want to put pavement on it and then there'd be a problem, and then you have to take all that up and redo it,
I
so.
agree, but if you would check with Jamie so
Okay.
that when the time is right, thank you.
And
for
this was
coming in.
with strong communities or
It
strong
was,
towns?
It's
small,
when we had all those state department heads.
it was
Okay.
Governor Cooper's
Mhm.
thing where
Initiative on s-
small town strong.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right, now I'm remembering the meeting.
Well, and it was kind of where people were just giving me suggestions, and he seems like he sat over there for
And
the,
I think that was state.
DOT. They were all from the state.
Yeah, I mean the DOT.
Yeah.
well, it's,
okay.
it's
You
worth
remember that
noting that when the time is right.
I remember because they were sitting right there.
Yeah, I wasn't here, but I remember talked about it. Yeah, so, we'll just leave it with you.
Okay,
Maybe
I'll check with Jamie.
Okay, so do we need to,
We don't need anything, this is just general information.
what's good information? And
So,
is this going to be, I mean, it will be strong enough to do what we feel needs to be done, right?
that's what the engineers are telling us.
Okay, and they'll sign off on it, that's what we need.
That's
Okay,
my,
well, that
that's my
sounds-
understanding.
Sounds good.
Just number 3, wanted to give you guys a brief update on COVID-19 funding. More funding came down through the state. And a bill was passed that said the entire amount of funding that went to each county, 25% of it had to come to the municipalities. So Lynn and I have talked, and I was on a webinar, and she was too, last Friday, with the North Carolina Office of Pandemic Recovery, NC Pro. I can remember acronyms now, but not
NC
people's
Pro.
real names. NC Pro. So anyway, the amount that will be coming to us through the county is $223,668. And we are looking for ways, we're not looking for ways, they're telling us how the money can be spent.
Okay,
And we have to have a plan ready to submit to the county by September 1. Leslie and I have met and discussed it, and Lynn and I have met and discussed it. And I think we'll have that plan done before then. I'm not
give us
sure.
one example how it would.
It can be, well, basically for our purposes, salaries for first responders or public safety. So that would be police and fire.
Got
And then also for supplies and cleaning, sterilization, that sort of thing. So we already had coming, and I think Jeff Howe's already ordered some sanitizing machines. I know he's ordered the handheld ones that can be used in the police vehicles and in smaller areas. And then we're also getting a cart that's a larger unit that can be used here and at town hall.
Sounds good.
So, but there's, and then there's just other things like personal protective gear to have on hand. Leslie's already ordered some stuff. We think our keyless or our touchless, our new touchless time clocks are another item that can be used. So there'll be more on that at the August meeting, but I just wanted to let you know that that is coming down the pipe, so that will definitely help our general fund.
Well, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
The last item is mine, and before I go there, this is not exactly here on the agenda. I could have brought it up under number 2. Is Niles' wife okay? Did I understand that she had a stroke? He's in the hospital.
Christine did?
Yeah, she's in the hospital.
We are on TV. I will just remind y'all.
Well,
We are on YouTube.
well, I always like to digress a little, so that's my digression for today. Let's move on to number 4. What I wanted to discuss with you is really, it's twofold. I think that we realize that trying to do social distancing and wearing masks is just not something that we wish to entertain as our goal with events. And I say that because I think I do need to probably send, I can't think of his name at the moment, you'll know who I'm talking about, Mr. Fox, Chad, the guy that was gonna do our, July 4th music.
Brown girl.
Yes, Ryan Girl. He was tentatively down for, Saturday of Labor Day weekend, and I would like to go ahead and just tell him that we would like to engage him next July the 3rd, which will be a Saturday, and forget about it, because I just think it's too iffy, and I personally feel we don't want to be something that people will link they're getting the COVID virus from that gathering on the square. But, so the money that we had kind of set aside for that, between $2,000 and $3,000, I was walking the streets of town this week, on 2 different days, just to see how the merchants are doing. And Claudia has, out of her own resources, has paid for a very small a very small band, like 2 or 3 players max. And I was taken with the fact of how lively it seemed to make the town come alive. I mean, it was, it's not inside her store, and as Heather reminded me, we don't want to have a situation where people are invited to sit down and congregate while they listen to music, but it kind of moves you along, and it made things seem, jiving. And our goal is to try to help get people into town and keep them for a while, when they will hopefully shop and maybe eat. So I was thinking that time-wise, like from 3 or 4 in the afternoon till 7, that would be on a Friday. I know Jody and I discussed Saturdays, and I find that Saturday afternoon's kind of late. People they've gone other places a lot of times, and so that Friday is when people like to kind of, the week is over. So I was hoping that I needed a list of the dates that Claudia has not already booked out of her own funds on Fridays, that we would look at doing the Fridays from now through Friday of Labor Day weekend, just that one Friday every weekend, that we can book a small group. It's nothing very expensive. I mean, like, I think $400 might be the max that a group would charge, depending on if there's 4 members in their group, and just play music while people shop and talk, and maybe also it invites you to linger around and eat. It would help, I hope, our businesses, and encourage people to, after the Friday, work day is over, stay in town, shop and talk and eat and whatever. So I wanted to run that by you. The 2 things of canceling and scheduling for next July the 4th, which would be on July the 3rd, Brian Girl, and that's for another situation, but I do want to officially cancel him. And then look at working something out with this, and ask Travel and Tourism to share whatever we project the cost would be. We pay half and they pay half. And it's not going to be a lot. I regret I don't have the list, but I mean, there's not that many Friday afternoons still to go, and we're not looking for a big band. Now, I did talk to merchants. I talked to see how they would like me, and thought it would be a good thing. And of course, they said yes. Then I ended up talking with what's his name? Metals. What's his first name?
Yes.
Dennis. Okay, Dennis and I had probably the longer conversation, and we decided that probably one location, instead of maybe putting a small band this Friday here and maybe next Friday there, but invariably we would leave out a business or 2 because the location is not ideal, etc. We decided that really it's a good location right in front of the chamber. There's enough room there for a small group, and the chamber would have a tent, because we hope it would be sunny and bright, that would cover them, and they play music right. There's enough space, and they're not in the street in front of the chamber, and it promotes the idea that this is the chamber and the town promoting and supporting our local businesses. That's about all I know about that.
So, of course, then.
So I just would like to hear the input from the board. That's Judy and me, and her me. So,
So this is not something that people would gather in a group.
we do not want to gather.
No.
And Heather's made it very clear to me, not to bring, I mean, the music that I enjoyed was not music that invited me to sit down. But it just kind of added to, music like in restaurants when they want you to move fast and you're moving to go through the line, they'll play fast music. I've learned, and slow music is as you settle down to eat. But this is just to keep people moving and to be entertained, but hopefully they shop and enjoy their own friendship with whomever, and maybe eat a meal not too far from where the music is playing. Well, it really, what hit me was that there were some tourists, that I ran into, and they said, well, this is a jiving little town. I like the word jiving. I thought, yeah, it is. So, hope that it would, and I think you will, the reason Dennis and I settled and just walk around to look and realize that we didn't really want to pick out any one place, or a place for this Friday and the next Friday. We decided one place would be the best, and I had shared with him what Heather had shared with me, that we didn't need to invite people to gather. Well, right in front of the chamber, they can't gather because their hind ends will be out in the street. But we would put up those cones so that traffic doesn't bother, but it gives enough room for a small band to be there, and yet you just keep moving. That's about all I have to say again. So what do you think over there?
Are we voting on this today?
What did she say?
Are we voting on this today?
Yes, I would like a vote for me to pursue looking into it, to invite the chamber, which right now seems to be rather dormant. There's no crowd there, and then maybe this would invite some public opinions on a Friday afternoon.
I just had a few thoughts of maybe. Well, I mean, I like the music idea. But so you're thinking about like having a band every Friday evening for the whole summer?
Friday afternoon from say 4 to 7.
I mean, for how many weeks about?
Now, I mean, if you think that maybe 3 till 6, so stores close around 5 or 5:30, is that right, Denise? I should know.
Hear that? I'm sorry.
Stores close around 5:30, right?
Well, this season, I think the latest people are staying open is 6. Maybe there's some states a little bit later. Our at least on Main Street, our plan was to everybody stay open later, especially on Friday and Saturday evenings. But they've all just been kind of closed because the traffic hasn't been as much. I was just thinking. I mean, could we apply? Oh, I wish. Well, I was just thinking, is there a better way to apply that money, as far as like, just throw it out there, instead of music in one location on Friday night this summer. I mean, that's going to be like at least probably like $400 every Friday, correct? For the
3
band.
or 4. Yeah, I'm looking for it to be cheap, 300 or 400 max.
400's max.
Max, yes.
Well, I mean, is there a way to utilize that money and maybe put up speakers in front of every store, so then there's music all the time playing up and down the street, the same music? I mean, I don't know how much that would cost, and I don't know how effective that would be, but I'm just thinking about long range planning with monies like this, because I love music at front, But I'm just thinking, like, if we're gonna be putting that much money into it, would it be more reasonable to put it into something that there's all the time going outside? That was just my thoughts.
I didn't understand.
I'm a little,
She's saying that instead of doing the live music all the time, take the money that you pay for that to have speakers outside the businesses and so it's playing the same music the whole time.
well, I mean, I'm missing something here, but the band is playing, and like, in front of the clothing store, there was just one gentleman on two instruments and a lady on the keyboard, and she sang and he harmonized, and it traveled all, I mean, it was rather loud to be heard, down past Appalachia and on down past your way, because I pretty well had walked around to see. But I mean, are you saying, I'm missing her point?
Maybe what the radio. Have music playing like
Like if you go to, today's community gone wrong, but if you went to somewhere like Broadway at the beach, and as you're walking around, there's music playing constantly. If you're in the grocery store, there's music all the time. I think are you suggesting that?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I mean, if we're gonna be putting that much money towards a band Saturday night, not the whole summer, could we utilize that money to create the same thing on every basis?
Every day is what she's saying.
Same price. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know the logistics of the electronics part of it, but I mean,
Well,
I'm thinking,
I think to me, a band draws people, I mean, not to sit down and enjoy, but no, maybe it's a bad idea. I can easily withdraw it.
You could use some of the money for that, I know what you're talking about. You can use Bluetooth and that kind of stuff now, so it shouldn't be that expensive.
Putting up speakers is gonna take some time and money and effort, and I don't really have time to coordinate something like that. There's a band that comes and brings their own speakers, it's not a big band, and it's there for 3 to 6 or 4 to 7, whatever works. We can give it some thought and figure it out another time. I just think that it adds to the liveliness of our little town and hopefully invites people to, particularly on Friday, people would come from work and maybe shop and eat and go home. I mean,
I'm good. Either way.
well, I tell you what, Denise, I'll let you work on it and get back with us.
can you repeat that?
I'll be happy to let you work on it and get back with us. I feel like I've picked up an idea, and if you and Judy feel like you want it the other way, it's okay with me.
No,
I just don't have the time to pursue getting the speaker stuff, and, I mean, the band comes prepared, and all they have to do is set up. The chamber would hopefully put up a little tent there to keep the sun off of them, and for about 3 hours or 4 max, they play.
I was saying I was good with band, or either way is fine with me. If you're gonna do the band thing, you probably need to get on it because this is July.
I know, but I mean, I know it's Johnny come lately, but I was exposed to it, and I thought, this is a good thing. People, you just kind of picked up the movement.
And as long as there's no congregation, I'm good.
There will be no, and that's why, Dennis and I chose the location because it does not invite you
To congregate.
yes. So, but,
Take planning, order stuff.
Yeah, we don't
That
have,
might be something for the future, but.
that might maybe look at that for later on.
well, it could be that if what Q finds that are live, because Claudia's got a lot already good. If we realize it is a good idea and it works, then possibly asking travel and tourism to put aside more money next year, that playing all the time during the week, or what you're talking about, because I think I picked up a trend.
I think so, because I'm like Jody, that would take quite a bit of doing to get that done. You know, so, but a band can set them up, send them home.
Well, I know that the cheaper bands, whatever it is that Alcatraz, I mean, you can get them for like $300 max, and they, anyway, but, you know, we can do this another time. I just like the idea of music, and, I feel bad that we had to cancel the music events on the square, because they were well attended. It just is something to add a little atmosphere as people walk and shop and talk and maybe eat. There's several restaurants around that benefit from that.
And I hope you don't think I thought it was not a good idea. I thought it was a good idea. I was just, this is the first time I heard about it, so I was like, well, just to throw out an idea, because I know money is really tight, and so that I was just looking for a maybe utilize the monies for something more than one evening a week. But I do like the Friday evening live music idea.
I just can't hear her, or I can't understand her.
She says she likes the live music idea, she just hadn't heard about it until now, and had no idea of it.
It's just, hopefully this weekend, so my being in town, I mean, walking the streets 2 different days and talking to merchants, and hearing one of those days, live music. So, and I, in the nick of time, asked Heather to put it on the agenda. So it's new to Judy and to a lot of us. I mean, I didn't get down the street to talk to you, because I did talk to several, at least 4 different merchants, just to get a variety of opinions. From restaurant to, the grapevine to Appalachia Java, and to, there were 2 others I talked to. I can't remember. Dennis was with me, but anyway, it was just to see if something would be, it would help or not. That was the idea.
And I think if we do this on Friday, I think all the merchants will stay open later, because there will be some activity in town.
So did I understand you saying a minute or 2 ago that merchants among yourselves are planning to stay open later on Fridays?
Well, we all have talked about it, last year, that we all were going to stay open later, especially on the weekends during the season. But then with COVID, none of us are really doing it because there's not much activity. But if there was music on Friday, then I'm sure everybody would stay open later that day.
Well, I think that I'm not sure of the time, but I think if it's 3 to 7 or 4 to 7, depending on how the money is, but definitely until 7 o'clock, hoping that invites people to also eat as well as shop. And then maybe another time, if we're still under the COVID watch, it could be a little longer, and that's something we can look at another time. I just thought we could fail to see if it helps you out as a business, for people to hope and shop and eat and talk and blah, blah. Is that my voice echoing?
I don't know.
Oh.
So,
Well, we can table this till next summer. I mean, it's no big. I just thought it was a good idea that deserved a little conversation, and I just trying to make the town come alive for the merchants, and hopefully people they don't congregate, but they do enjoy like they did at lunchtime.
Let's see, when's our, August meeting?
well, we had it set on, we set it on the 13th because of the craft fair, but
There's no question.
There is no pass-through because we didn't know on the 25th what they were gonna do. So if you wanna move it back to the regular meeting date, which would be the first Thursday in August, you could do that. I mean, I don't think Denise, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I think I hear you saying that you're not opposed to doing this. You were just throwing out another idea, sort of also.
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a very good idea. I was just throwing out another idea how to utilize the monies. I think it's a good idea.
So if you want to move forward with it, we just need a motion.
Okay,
Denise says she makes the motion.
I'll
Move
second.
forward.
okay, well, and I'll vote for it. So, there you have it.
So, and then we can, Denise, look into what you're talking about in terms of getting, the shops on Main Street, maybe some type of a music component for, maybe Christmas. We don't know where we'll be. It'd be nice to have Christmas music.
It would be very nice.
It's like when you go in the mall, there's music playing, and so,
Yeah.
we hear what you're saying. I just think for right now, it's a little short notice for the summer, but certainly, merits looking into come next spring, summer, and fall.
Great.
I don't know how she ever.
She can hear
Okay.
better, us better.
Okay, well, okay, so the motion is that we will pursue it, in addition to what you have discussed, Denise,
Right.
for another season. Hopefully we'll all still be here. Okay,
That's it.
that is it. Since there's nothing else on our agenda, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
For Denise, and I second it, and so.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, and so the meeting is adjourned.
Bye, Denise.
Thank you, Denise, for joining us.
Hey, bye guys. Thanks for letting me.
See ya.
See ya.
She got it.
And I sent it to Leslie.